Hi guys, I'm here with Ashtone Audio here. We're going to go through some questions today. Initially it was going to be 20 questions, but I had to narrow it down to 15 just to make it easier. But
15 questions. I like how specific that is.
yeah, just be a bit more specific. And Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm taking a short break from a long week that I get to end my break in about an hour or two.
Oh god, what's the weather like over there at the minute?
Well, specifically, a little clouds and 50 degrees, but I'm sure it's going to be like 70 later today.
Right. Let me just.
Quite nice.
I feel like I've just blocked you out with my image here. There you go. Right, let's start with the questions, shall we? So the first question I have is, what is your favourite album of all time?
Of all time?
Yes.
Damn.
Throwing you in the deep end here.
Yeah, that's deep. Is there any criteria, or just in general?
In general.
Oh man, that's such a hard question to ask a producer. I'm thinking. Give me a split second. Oh man. I don't have one answer.
Alright.
That's like a tie. I could tell you my top 5 maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
They're so different. Outlier by 12 Foot Ninja.
Oh yeah.
LD50 by Mudvayne.
I've not heard that one yet.
That's a like 99 I think is when it came out. I would say favorite of all time. Something man, I have to look at my own Spotify, man. I'm just seeing if there's anything I'm typing a lot. Damn. That's hard questions, man. Those two are up there for sure. I would have to say, okay. P2, Periphery.
Oh yeah, cool.
That's an easy one. I don't know why I forgot that one. I'm an idiot. And then I wish I could pick one album from Nothing More. Unfortunately, they're kind of all evenly keeled for different reasons. So I'd probably stop there. We got the 12 Foot Ninja Outlier, LD50 Mudvayne, and P2 by Periphery. There's a lot of close seconds to Periphery's one, but that's what I could probably do front to back.
I mean, if you were to ask me that question as well, that would be difficult because it changes all the time.
I mean, I don't think I have that kind of a tier. I think I'm just exposed to too much that like I have like top 5s and 10s, I guess, you know.
But the one that always comes to mind that is it's a controversial choice to have for one of the best albums, but for me it would be Pitfalls by Leprous.
By who?
Leprous.
I don't know why I'm blanking on that name.
It's one of those albums that always comes to mind.
What's the artist? I gotta look it up.
Leprous.
Leprous?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You were getting a bit of feedback back there.
A little bit. I'm hearing my voice come through your side a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try it like that. Yeah, I'm not familiar with these guys.
Yeah, like progressive rock / metal. Like they go in between.
Progressive rock thrash metal.
/ metal, should I say.
Okay. I'd say I'll probably listen to thrash metal like a little tiny bit more.
No, I mean like rock and metal is what I meant to say.
Okay.
So we might as well move on to the next question then.
Yeah.
Which is, What is the hardest thing you have worked on?
Hardest, like difficulty wise, or hardest like heavy music?
Difficulty.
Difficulty. The hardest thing I've worked on. Honestly, nothing sticks out, but I would probably have to say doing an 8-song record in 2 weeks.
Right.
That's a lot.
I can imagine with all the tricks that you have to put into it as well, I imagine it's even more chaos just going through it.
Yeah, I have to bring out a assistant engineer. I need extra hands.
Yeah. So that was actually a quick question, but this is going to be an interesting question because, yeah. Do you like pets? If so, what is your favourite pet?
Pets? That's a funny question because I do not dislike animals, but I don't like pets.
Right.
That requires time and care for another life form, and I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, I can imagine with you just running around all the time.
I would just be neglecting it, unfortunately, and I'm not one. I know that lots of people love animals, especially like dogs, and there's dog people. I'm not a dog person.
Yeah.
I don't need the animal companionship. Unfortunately, if I ever had an animal, it'd be a turtle.
A turtle?
Because they're just chill and cool and they just hang out in their place.
Yeah, don't really do much.
and he's there though. I can go say what's up.
Yeah. Right. How many years have you been a producer for?
I like to consider being a producer as from when I started getting money for it. So I would say since 2009.
Right, so longer than some people probably might think you might have done, probably, because only recently over the last few years you've really been picking things up, like Darko and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty normal for most people's career paths. You know, you got to put in a lot of time first and learn a lot of things and make a lot of mistakes. You got to fail a lot, and then eventually you kind of make the right moves. So yeah, I've been working on this for quite a while, mostly local bands, and then eventually I started working with bigger bands as I got better.
Yeah, what are some interesting like local bands you worked on earlier on in your career?
Interesting local bands. I mean, I doubt you'd heard of them.
Yeah.
They're local bands. It's just local bands trying to do the metalcore thing. They're always next band's trying to be the next heavy thing, but like they're just usually, a lot of them tend to just copy a lot of what they hear. You know, it's rare that you find local bands with something next level.
Yeah, so a lot of the generic sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's just inexperienced writing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of musicians spend most of their time unknowingly getting good at being a musician, but not enough about being a songwriter. So when it comes time to making music, there's just a lot less people ready for what really needs to be done.
Yeah. So next, yeah, we've gone through that already. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Fuck yes.
Because I've been told that it's not that great, and I'm kind of scared to try it.
It depends. I know what it sounds like, but I will follow that up with it only can be served one way, and it has to be with pepperoni.
Right.
The pepperoni has the pepper and spice and in it, and that spice, and it's not like hot, it's just, but that spice mixed with the pineapple sweetness, and pineapple cooks really well.
Yeah.
It maintains a lot of the juice still when you cook it. So like a hot slice of pineapple, it's just adding like a little bit of sweetness essentially to the spiciness, and it's a nice balance. But some people do try pineapple with like other pizza types, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
like pineapple needs to be with pepperoni, and then that's it. Maybe Italian sausage, for the extra spicy, again, for the same balance. But I can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
I have to have the spicy stuff with the pineapple, or else it don't work.
Yeah, so basically spices really help it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, pineapple is very sweet, and
yeah.
Why pineapple? Well, you gotta balance it with something hot or spicy or both, So I would do that. I mean, I could see maybe if someone liked jalapenos, I don't, but if someone liked jalapenos, pineapple, and pepperoni, I could see that working out,
Yeah, I can imagine that can be quite painful for the mouth, though, I can imagine.
if that's painful for you. I know plenty of people that eat jalapenos like Skittles.
Oh, God. That sounds dreadful.
I wouldn't know.
Oh, right. Since it is Halloween pretty much today, what is your favourite horror...
Today, huh?
What is your favourite horror film or show?
Horror film or show? I'm pretty traditional. I'm not a huge horror fan, believe it or not, and I don't know. I think when it comes to Halloween, I might watch a couple of classics. Classics like original Nightmare on Elm Street, or even older.
Yeah.
I kind of like watching old Boris Karloff movies. That's fun. They're not even scary at all. They're just old school horror movies from the black and white eras. Like the old Mummy, the old Frankensteins. That's for me. That's my Halloween spirit. It's more fun. I'm not a horror movie guy. I have a very vivid imagination, and watching anything remotely horror or worse, like my mind it makes it too real for me in my own head, and I'm like, I don't enjoy that. I know some people would love watching that because they can separate the reality from it. Like, it's a fucking movie. I'm like, I still see a lot of blood. I'm good.
Yeah. So do you like a lot of the black and white ones, basically?
I don't watch them frequently, but if I were to, I might go there just to be like, hey, I want to check that out.
Yeah. Because, I mean, whenever it comes to Halloween films, I mean, Halloween has to be there.
Halloween? Oh, you mean Halloween, the movie Halloween?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah. Those are some of the slasher films. I never really got into the Halloween films that much. I'm very familiar with them, but I just I don't think I've watched a ton of them. I did watch some of the newer ones. I saw H2O when it came out. I saw Resurrection when it came out. And I saw the first zombie one when it came out. But I didn't like Rob Zombies. It was just too much. I'm like, yeah, this is the Devil's Reject guy making a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And, but after that, I know they made a few more, but I lost interest. I spend more time doing music.
Yeah, I'd probably only stick with watching the first film, to be honest, like the original classic one.
Yeah. Oh, Scream. I love the Scream movies.
Yeah, I think I've only watched the first film and then the new one that came out.
That's odd, because there's like some really story stuff in the new one, I think. Especially with like Dewey, I think. And I don't know, I like how, I don't know, but you know how people use the word meta, when they like things in and out of reality?
Yeah.
I feel like, well, they weren't the first movie to do this, but they were definitely self-aware, and there was a lot of fun with like the rules of like a horror movie inside a horror movie and stuff, and that was really fun. Jamie Kennedy did that. He goes into it more on the second one. The third one was alright. The fourth one I didn't care for. The new one was meant to be a little more emotionally jarring, I guess, for people who enjoy the old Scream movies, but I think those were like a pretty good leap into a modern horror movie when they made it.
Yeah, I like, speaking of like horror films, like taking the mick out of other horror films, like I kind of wish I'd watched more of the Scary Movie, like Mickey tape sort of films.
Just say that again. You.
You know, the Scary Movie franchise.
Oh, actual scary. Yeah. Yes, scary movies. I thought you were just saying scary movies, but yes, I'm very familiar with the scary movie franchise.
Yeah, for just like taking the mick out of everything that exists.
Yeah. Man, I know. How many of those do they have anymore now? They have like
I think there's about 7 of them, I think.
7. I stopped after 3.
I think I only watched like 2 of them.
I think I stopped watching when the Wayans brothers stopped being heavily involved.
I just remember the one with the guy with the where he took those tablets and he fell off the balcony. If you remember that one, I can't remember which one that was.
That sounds one of the later ones.
Like, I'm not going to go into detail as to what exactly the details were because, you know, it wouldn't be appropriate to upload to YouTube. If I was to say it.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Scary Movie 1, 2, I'm pretty familiar with 3 a little bit, and then I just stopped losing. I started losing interest.
I think it was within the first 3 films, I think.
It's not coming to memory right now. I keep seeing the first one in my head, which is essentially a Scream spoof from the get-go. They mess with a couple other ones, but
Yeah. Right. I don't know how often you do this since you are a very busy person, obviously, but if you had to say what some of your favourite video games are, what would they be?
Video games. So there's another thing I don't venture into much, but I'm an old video game guy.
Yeah.
Not old, but like old now. But man, the last game I genuinely played a while ago. It's like Final Fantasy VII on the original PlayStation.
So,
And,
yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm just not a gamer type. It's because I always die. I suck at games.
Yeah, I'm not really...
It's not fun for me.
Yeah, I'm not really the type to be like sticking to like gaming a lot of the time because I just don't have that much time.
Yeah, it's a time-consuming hobby. And
Like maybe
I know people who will use gaming as a pastime, but like I'll see it literally become a priority over work sometimes, and I'm too scared to go down that path.
I literally only have maybe an hour or 2 a day to be able to actually play them.
I don't even have that with a 3-year-old kid, and
Yeah.
I already have enough of enthusiasm for like reaction channels as it is. That spends up in whatever free time I do have. Usually goes into like YouTube and Twitch now.
Yeah, so when someone tells me, oh look at this new open world game, I'm like, I don't have time for 50 hours.
I'd be like an old person in a museum. I'd be slowly exploring every inch and never get to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well be doing that because of how big they actually are.
Yeah, some of these are big.
So, let's move on to the next question. What are some of your favourite concerts you have been to?
Concerts. I haven't been to a massive amount. I've worked a lot, but I don't count those because I'm not really listening like a
Yeah.
listener. Most memorable concerts. Muse on the Resistance tour
Right.
in the States was insane.
I can imagine Muse back in the day when they were like on the top. They were probably a lot better live than they probably are now.
Muse?
Yeah.
I think they're fantastic live. I still think they're some of the best bands live. Like, I don't see people in metalcore bands playing guitars clean and well as Matt does. Like, that guy's vocals and guitar skill is through the roof.
Yeah.
And they got Dan Lancaster on stage now as their 4th member, which is awesome. Dude on keyboards and vocals. But other than that one, I would say, oh yeah, Summer Sanitarium 2003.
Right.
That was let's see, that was it was a stadium tour, and it hit San Francisco here. I live about 2 hours from San Francisco, and it was Candlestick Park. That was the San Francisco Giants stadium at the time, and it was 5 bands. In order, it was Mudvayne, Deftones, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Metallica. In 2003.
That seems a wild lineup.
That would be like seeing today. That'd be like seeing Bring Me the Horizon, Architects, Falling in Reverse, and Motionless in White, and like Meshuggah all in the same lineup today.
I need to find this tour that's happening this year over here in the UK because it's wild as well. Let me find it because this is just bonkers. Wait, what was it? No, it wasn't that one. Despised? Despised. Where are I? Wait, where is it? Oh, there it is. Despised, Icon, Decapitated, Brand of Sacrifice, Distant, and Viscera. All
okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All on the same tour.
That's crazy. That's pretty cool. I think it's at the Rad tour. I think what was another one that happened? There was like Spite, Left Us Separate, Carnifex was just happening. In Oceano, they just finished a tour like a day or two ago.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I went to one on Wednesday, just gone this week, which was Bury Tomorrow with August Burns Red and Novelists.
Okay, cool.
But,
I'm familiar with most of those bands' music, yeah.
But Bury Tomorrow and August Burns Red, they shared the same set list, basically. Like they share the same stage.
That's pretty cool.
Which is something I can't say I see too often with bands like that.
So that again, I think you cut out a little bit.
Alright, yeah, I can't, yeah, you don't see that sort of thing very often, having a band that's a little bit smaller than August Burns Red, like, co-headlining together.
That is interesting. I think there's usually a lot of other factors that I think we don't take in consideration. You know, there's like sales and stream numbers that come into play that like may not line up with the way we see bands.
Yeah.
But as far as for venues and promoters and buyers go, like it makes sense to them why they did that. You know.
Yeah.
It could have been literally something like I heard things where like they just know that the crowd of a particular band are like heavy drinker fans, and they'll like make sure that the band's put in the place of this lineup at the right time. You know what I mean? So that when drinking happens at the right time. Like there's all kinds of like strategy that goes into bands' show times and lineups and orders and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, we have 5 more questions left. Which...
Shoot.
That's not as... It went quickly, that, for sure. What is one of the funniest moments you have had whilst being a producer?
Funniest moments? Oh, man. I can't come up with anything. Everything's so stressful. I'd say I accidentally mixed a song by Saliva. That was an accident. That was funny to me. I mixed a song for some guy and then it got released under Saliva.
Oh. So
I'm like, oh, so I mixed a Saliva song.
So messing around with the wrong songs, basically.
No, not the wrong song. It's just I thought I was mixing for a particular band or artist, but then the song got repurposed for a different band.
Oh.
So I ended up a mix for the band Saliva. They're a little older, but
Yeah.
People still know who they are, you know.
Yeah, I imagine they still do just by the band name though, because it's not a great band name.
Saliva. Well, it's subjective. I mean, like, there's a lot of band names at the time when they came out where it was like one-word band names, you know.
Yeah.
Cool, Godsmack, Stained, Disturbed. Like, I mean, that was the vibe. That's how all those bands were named. Just like today, you can look at most band names and start to get a good guess of what era they came from.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands today that people think have cool band names, but like in 5 years, they're gonna be pretty stupid.
Yeah, there's been a lot of really stupid ones.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, what's a cool band name? You know, I mean, like,
Yeah.
just because it doesn't use a goofy word, I think the whole point is to stick out in the first place. There's too many bands to begin with.
Because I feel like if you're gonna go with like band names that are like really obvious when you're saying like Disturbed and bands like that, they sound a bit too serious, if you know what I mean.
Some do and some don't.
Yeah.
I think because of that, simply there's just no rules.
Yeah, but
You just gotta find something that either means something to you or sticks out to help you get noticed.
yeah, but then when you mention bands like Electric Callboy, that's just a weird name altogether.
I mean, they had a different name to begin with.
Yeah, which was even more stupider.
I mean, like, my response is like, so?
Yeah, yeah.
Have a stupid name, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, I'm sure the name's awesome to other people, you know? I've had some pretty stupid band names. You know, all band names are stupid if we want to really get subjective about it. It's like, I can't think, I mean, technically, Metallica is a weird name. They just did a play on the word metal, you know? Like,
Yeah.
there's really not a Megadeth. Like, it sounds cool at first, like Megadeth, but you're like, wait, how much death? Megadeth.
Yeah.
You know, Motorhead. Okay. Interesting. Kiss. No thanks. You know, Cannibal Corpse. I'm like,
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's just like the names are iconic. Led Zeppelin, but we're talking about an air balloon made out of lead.
Yeah. They're not super interesting, are they?
I mean, there's not really. I can't say I've really heard an interesting band name that wasn't also slightly goofy.
Yeah.
You know, like Mudvayne.
Yeah.
Like, that's just means dirt in your veins, and you got 12-foot ninja. I love that band name.
Yeah. I mean, that is probably one of the better band names, to be fair.
I mean, it's equally goofy. I think it's just it rolls off the tongue nicer. 12-foot ninja.
Yeah. I mean, what song was it where they were just being really goofy about cats? Like they're in a.
Oh, that's the cinematic intro for their video for oh my goodness, it's been a minute since I just know the record so well now. It's kind of driving me. It's the first song on the record. It was the heavy one, One Hand Killing. That's right.
Yeah, because that has got one of the best openings to a music video ever, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's definitely got something memorable for everyone knows that at the very least about
Yeah.
Ninja, if nothing else.
Like I'll never forget that.
No, I haven't still.
So the next question I have is, what are some pieces of equipment you would recommend for someone starting out in the industry today?
As a producer,
Yeah.
an Apollo,
Right.
a Universal Audio, any Apollo, doesn't matter. They're not cheap, but that thing's too powerful.
I mean, nothing's cheap these days.
No, so just buy the right thing then.
Yeah.
Like, don't waste money. Don't spend cheap money, because now you just wasted that money.
Yeah. I mean, even for like a really, really good standard just camera in general, that would cost you like £1,000 or more.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to get like a brand new one for sure, I think there's a lot of cameras that you can use
Yeah.
that will work just fine for, like, you know, YouTubers and stuff, you know what I mean? If you're into getting, like, music videos and stuff, you know, the
Yeah, yeah.
And then like in this place, you know, microphones are nothing. You can get microphones for $100 or a couple $100 a pop. You know, that's nothing. The Apollo, that's a couple grand.
Yeah.
You know, but it's way too powerful. Any other interface just doesn't even come close to what Universal Audio does.
Yeah, I mean, this camera that I'm using right now to talk to you, it barely cost me anything. It was like 50 quid.
Oh, your camera's not on.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You sure? It's like,
Yeah.
it's on my end.
I mean, it might be on in here, but it might not be sending. It's black on my end.
Oh.
It doesn't matter, it's all good.
Alright, as long as it's fine in the recording.
I'm sure it's fine on your recording, yeah.
Yeah, because I can see my camera. So everything should be fine.
It's all good.
So,
It doesn't.
next question I want to ask is, in your spare time when you aren't working, what do you like to do?
If I'm not streaming, I'm watching movies.
Yeah, just chilling out.
Yeah, I don't really do anything else. I really enjoy the routine I have right now. I have my fam at home, see them when I go home, and then I have work here. If I run out of work to do, then I just start writing songs.
Yeah, just constantly just writing, really.
Generate content, because if I don't have a client to pay me, then I gotta make music to put out there to pay.
Right. So, what was the next question? What are some of your favourite places in California?
There's a place called Point Benitez. It's a lighthouse over in San Francisco. I like visiting that area quite a lot. Right on the coast, there's a lighthouse that goes like way the fuck out there.
Yeah.
I do also like going to San Francisco when I find a decent place to hang out. Other than that, Tahoe's great if you just want to chill out. I like going up to the mountains and finding like a cabin or a place to like just chillax for the weekend or something. That's nice.
Yeah.
I love Disneyland. I like how much effort those people have put into making that park just flawless top to bottom.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it has to be.
The things they come up with and the things they do are getting crazier, like with the technology for like entertainment and interaction. And me personally, I just love the detail that they put into the park.
Yeah, yeah.
Down to like the concrete you're walking on, to like little things on the side you might not even catch. You know, it's just like if you just want to walk around and look at things, you guys can do that all day.
Yeah, I mean, over like in California, like, is there any like little like creepy stories about places or creepy places that you know of? Because you know, cool places like that.
Well, we do have Death Valley.
Right. Oh, is that
the place in the world?
Is that big long road?
No, it's Death Valley is a desert not too far from LA. But something about the geography just makes it literally the hottest place in the world.
Yeah.
And I know there's like a couple of ghost towns out there, I think.
Yeah.
Or something, but I've never been there. I don't feel like going to the hottest place in the world.
Yeah, I mean, who would?
But I mean, that's cool. I love going up to Shasta. Though there's like, if you go up towards, if you drive to Oregon above California, you have to drive through Shasta, and that part of California is still green.
Right.
and gorgeous. So I'm a vibe guy, you know. I gotta get out and then like not be bothered
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't so hot, I'd probably go visit those places.
I mean, I'll probably visit Death Valley one time to say I checked it out, and I'll be like, yeah, nothing's there.
Yeah, it's probably just burnt buildings, probably.
Yeah, it's just nuts. California's big. There's a lot of driving to get from place to place.
Yeah, yeah. So, I have 2 questions left, so let's go through this one. What was the process of producing the Darko album easy or hard? I mean, the new Darko album.
It's not hard. It's just a lot of time.
Yeah.
Usually Josh writes songs first. He records like his guitars and bass,
Yeah.
so we can keep them at home. So he writes and records all that stuff at home. Then he comes here and we improve the songs further. We like maybe just tweak the arrangements, we add parts, add post-production, more extra sounds and stuff. We gotta record drums. Tom comes, he flies in, and then we like go over his lyrics and kind of like get his vocals mapped out, track that, and then once that's done, you just kind of get to hear the whole record as a whole and fill in little things they might have missed along the way, and then I just go to mix, and then we're there. Like, it's pretty easy when it's just 2 people.
Yeah, yeah. I can
Like casual.
I can imagine when putting in all those little like glitchy sound effects and stuff like that. That takes a lot of effort to like mix and stuff like that.
Actually, that's some of the easiest stuff.
Really?
And a lot of people tend to focus on those things, and I mean that's the easiest stuff. It's I mean, you got your whammy tones,
Yeah, yeah.
and then record it, and then cut them up. That's literally it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's probably the timing of those that's probably a bit more difficult than actually like getting them in there.
Timing, like you know how long it takes to do it. I mean, it's pretty quick. I mean, everything's on the grid.
I mean, like actually getting it in on the grid in time with like the song itself.
That's what I mean. You just record it on there.
Yeah.
And you cut out the pieces. You just delete, and then you make your stuttering sounds and your glitch sounds by removing spoken parts. You know what I mean? So it literally takes like a couple of minutes per part.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever like run into any problems like, you know, when getting the album like out or so when it's done? You know what I mean, like getting it published and stuff like that.
Do I run into problems getting it published? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Well, not actually involved.
I mean, anything that you might know.
I really I'm pro partner. Once the songs are mixed,
Yeah, you
I'm out of the process.
Yeah, you just kind of just outside basically.
I'm not in Darko. Those guys are Darko.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm there. Yeah. So we'll finish the song, and then at that point, they just have the songs till they're ready to release, and whatever way they want. They work on video ideas.
Yeah.
And they got their video guy out there in Romania.
Yeah.
Doing their videos.
Like, I'd love to talk to that guy, just to see what his ideas are like. You know, like.
Yeah, Norbert. Yeah, he's on the Instagram.
Yeah,
He's on Instagram.
Yeah, I need to talk to him at some point.
I think he's very open to it. He's got a lot of crazy ideas.
Because he is just wild with what he does.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
I like a lot of his videos.
I don't even know how he thinks of it.
Probably a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I can imagine there's drugs involved. And final question is, who would you like to produce in the future and why?
Who would I like to produce in the future and why? Well, I immediately do not count bands that self-produce.
Yeah.
So that removes a few easy choices. that means I couldn't produce Nothing More. I couldn't produce a band like Tesseract that records themselves. I couldn't do Architects, even though I'd love to challenge that. I'd probably say Papa Roach or Motionless in White.
I mean, Papa Roach are probably going to be difficult to get a hold of, probably.
They live right here in Saxon.
Yeah, I mean, like, just to actually get in touch with them.
Not for me.
Right. So they.
I can get very in touch with those guys. In fact, I have half their numbers.
So that close.
They're from right here in my town. And now that I'm more known in this area, like you start to like.
Yeah.
If you're in the same area and you're a known musician or a person in the industry, you kind of just all start to know each other.
Yeah.
And avoid each other. So like we got Deftones, Papa Roach, Tesla, Middle Class Rut, Spite, kind of Darko, and a lot of bands that came from the Artery crew started your Dance Gavin Dances from here.
Yeah.
You got these bands aren't from here, but bands that got their start here with Artery were like Asking Alexandria, Attila, and I feel like there's another one I'm missing. I can't remember right now, but there's been a ton of bands here. But everyone, once you're in that spot, everyone kind of knows each other, so it's just more of like planned. So like, I'd have to get into Papa Roach's inner conversation and just throw out my interest, because I do know Jacoby and them love working with different people. So I feel like there's an actual possibility that could happen. Motionless in White, I know that Chris likes to be very comfortable in the studio, and I feel like I can provide that kind of comfort. And I know he likes my production. I saw him mention that when he was listening to Darko on Nick Street.
Yeah.
So, I might like reach out. And I've crossed paths with him before. We were in the same studio when I was doing one of my songs. He was doing an older Motionless in White record at the same place, same studio. So that we met for a short minute. So it would be too weird to reach out and be like, hey, let's do a song.
Yeah, I can imagine Motionless in White doing like great with you.
Yeah, that could be cool. Because like, they like the big production thing, and I'd like to do Papa Roach because I would do a lot of cool different sounds and styles with them. I like their production styles. There's like lots of layers, but like not aimless. They like fucking with these different styles of music within the same genre. They like keeping the hooky, and I like hooks, and I like his energy. Jacoby is a beast of a vocalist, so people don't give him the credit. They gotta see that guy live and realize that he sounds exactly like the way he does in the studio record. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine it does, but have you ever come across artists like live where they're not great as like what they are in the studio?
Oh, of course, tons. More than half of the modern metal bands.
Right. Is it because of the ones that use too much auto-tune, or is it just because they can't sing?
It's not. It's kind of both. When you say use auto-tune, I'm gonna take that into a different answer and say studio magic.
Yeah, like a lot of production.
A lot of bands out there use too much studio magic. They will write songs at the desk.
Yeah.
Not as a band. And these songs, they don't exist in a band format first.
Yeah.
So when it comes to playing it live, unless you have extremely professional, trained, music theory skilled musicians playing this music that was written on a computer, it's not going to come out right. It's going to be stale. They're going to realize there's transitions or parts of the song that don't land right naturally.
Yeah.
And usually producers will come in and fix that kind of stuff. Like I will go like, hey guys, this part doesn't make sense. You can't say that many words in real time. Or you can't play that many notes. You need time to breathe. So I sit there and give them, advice on what they need to do for their songs to get more playable live, as well as sound good on the studio. But there's bands that go out there that have done so much in the studio they can't recreate it. And then the other side is there are people out there that actually suck at their instruments.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, because of how easy it's gotten to make music, especially heavy music with all the plugins and libraries and crap.
Yeah.
It is really not difficult to make something legit sounding, but a lot of that music these days are made by people that are mediocre or amateur at what they do. So once they do get on stage, the curtain's pulled down, and now we're really seeing you for who you really are.
Yeah.
This is why Wage War is as big as they are. They are one of the most solid live bands that can actually play what they put out there. But it's funny because some people think their music isn't that interesting on the album. I'm like, well, I think you need to go see that album played live. Like, you're listening to an album that is from a live band. It's not gonna have 200 layers of production on it because that's not what they're doing.
Yeah.
But then you go see it live and it's like, holy crap, this is solid, this is heavy, it's nuts, it sounds so good to me live. Why didn't I like the studio version? I'm like, maybe because you were expecting too much. Everyone was expecting way too much of the music. So some bands get the lack of benefit of proper managed expectations. Some bands genuinely cannot play or sing. And then some bands just do too much in the studio that they can't recreate. So it's kind of a blend.
Yeah. Is there any bands that you know of that you think might use too many backing tracks?
Oh yeah, tons. I'm not gonna name them, but absolutely. I'm not gonna name anyone specifically on this kind of topic for my work reasons, but there are absolutely bands that I could name that are just using too much of the backing support and not the live side. Now, not to be confused with the Falling in Reverse skimmish.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing. Those guys are extremely pro musicians.
Yeah.
And Ronnie included. I've even mixed Falling in Reverse live recordings before, including Ronnie's voice raw from the mic, and I'm like, damn, how is he sounding like this? He's pulling the mic this far back, and it's still just as loud. His voice has got that much power. And I know it's not pre-recorded or fake because I can hear the crowd in the background. I can hear the microphone picking up the concert, like it's him,
Yeah.
And I still had to tune a few little things, because he's not perfect, but his skill level's through the roof. So now you have Tom Holland on his drums.
Yeah.
And Lord knows who on guitar and bass. Like, the band's too fucking solid, but that whole thing with their backtracks, that's not about them as musicians or as a band. That's about losing an important piece of equipment for their show.
Yeah.
Because it's not just backtracks. That computer, as it's playing backtracks, also has time code for light shows. Has time code for video shows that's happening on the wall behind it. There's stage cues that go to the bands in your monitors that tell them when they need to walk on and off stage for the planned timing of their set, there's all kinds of things happening that's coming from the laptops that's other than just their backtracks,
Yeah.
The whole show, the production falls apart. If we're talking about just play your stuff, I'm like, well, then you're asking just the band to go play a garage show. These guys have put on a production show. It's like going to see a stage show or a Broadway show, except this includes metal, Ice Nine Kills. If their laptops died or was stolen, they couldn't do it.
Oh yeah. I can imagine.
Same reason, but they're equally just as good. Now, I have seen bands that have lost backtracks. I want to say specifically this band, but just to make an example of what kind of band, Rings of Saturn is an example of a band. not them specifically, but a type of band that may sometimes rely a little too much on their tracks, especially if you're only seeing the 2 or 3 people live. You can tell, you know, and then like they've canceled sets because of their laptops going, and I'm like, I don't know, the laptop's carrying a little too much of the song, you know, not them specifically. Like I said, there are tons of bands that I know, local and big, that do this, and then they can't figure out, oh, the clicks coming out of the PA because they route their shit. Like, you guys are in over your heads.
Yeah, I can imagine with. Can imagine with how fast they actually play. I imagine they have no choice but to use backing tracks for some parts.
I don't think it's about the speed. It's just that they have like full instrumentation and band, and they don't have a full band.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're putting in elements that they don't have people recreating live. That should be, in my opinion, you know. But that's, I mean, it's been a minute since I've played on a live show, so I don't have any examples from recent past, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This happens more often with local bands than pro bands. Pro bands usually got their shit together.
Yeah. I mean, there's one band live that it's nothing to do with backing tracks necessarily, it's just the band themselves. But Slipknot live wasn't great.
Depends on the show, I think. I've seen poor sets, I've seen fantastic sets. I've seen them quite a few times. What's great about this band for me is they don't use tracks at all.
Yeah.
They have a sampler and a DJ, both.
Yeah.
All the stuff that's not banned is coming from those guys live. They're not just hitting play. Like, there's multiple sounds split up, and then they're still recreating those like sounds live. I can understand Slipknots have had bad sets. I've also seen Slipknot put on an amazing set, you know. So who knows? Could have been sound. Could have been the experience of the show. They could have just been having a bad night. It happens, you know, like.
Yeah, because I remember hearing stuff from the previous night at the show just before, where they were having sound problems. So thanks, Matt, for coming today. I appreciate someone actually being available to join, because it has been a while since I've had somebody on.
Okay, yeah, of course, man.
Any last words you want to say to anyone who may be watching or listening?
Hi. You can find me on Twitch.
Also, I will be obviously leaving links to Ashtone Audio's links in the description of the video. But to everybody who is listening on Spotify, whenever this does go up, all the links will be on the YouTube version of what you are listening to right now. But Matt, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
And until next time, everybody. Peace.